it and convey that to the audience in the best way that I could possibly imagine, because he's brilliant.
And he's somebody who's utterly unafraid of taboo as well. But let's talk about that taboo, because it's been about 50 years since George Carlin released his comedy bit about the 7 words you can never say on television. So it wasn't really that long ago that most swear words were all taboo. What in our society has changed?
Well, I think so much of what you learn in the series is, really historical and evolutionary background of a lot of these words. And a lot of them come from, medieval times where the language was used in a much different way. So I think it's less about the modern day use of a swear and more about the evolution through time of why these words have mattered to us and why they continue to evolve. We look at a word, damn is one of our episodes, and in that particular episode, you really see the evolution. You see it from being the most egregious, terrible thing that you can say to someone, you are damning them to hell. Then now it's become a fairly benign word, and really understanding and appreciating that evolution and looking at nowadays kids in their 20s and 30s, a lot of the words that you and I consider to be swear words, they find much less offensive than they do new words that are about identity or slurs, and those kids who are teenagers or in their 20s are going to be adults in not too distant future. So language will change, and what we find as offensive will change very quickly.
Yeah. I was surprised Dan was included, because I just thought
You just said go lay down. That's a new one.
And it is a brilliant album by Kendrick Lamar as well. But I think we really thought it was an important aspect to include because it's the full life cycle of a word. It is seeing it go from being something so terrible to something now that
you are definitely gargoyle.
There, but also your gargoyle doesn't blink an eye at it.
So one of the things that makes this show work is that we see these words being used and I think really explored by various comedians. So when you pitch this idea to comedians like Sarah Silverman and Patty Harrison, what was their initial reaction to your idea?
It's interesting that each one of them had a very different take, and I think all of them were drawn to talking about the project because language is their art form, and a lot of them talked about how language and how swearing is used in comedy to emphasize a point. Where you put a swear word in a joke makes a big difference.
We still share it with lizards.
It's true. And, just all of the neurological aspects of what happens to your body and the physiological aspects of what happens to your body when you swear. We also learned about usually whichever your primary language is that you learn is the language that your body actually reacts to swearing. So even if you learn a secondary language, typically you don't have those same physiological reactions when you're translating, which I found really interesting as well. So there's so much to be learned about how your body reacts to language and why that swearing is just a great way to really make an example of that.
You cover a range of curse words, but there are 2 words that the show looks at that are specific to women in a very unflattering way. Did words like those ever make the show uncomfortable or awkward to film?
I actually, as a woman, found them very important to talk about. And I think, when you are talking about words that were so degrading to women at some point that are now being reclaimed, and they are now being reclaimed by different groups of people, but we're allowing women to have power over that kind of language and allowing women to know bad language. There's just language that affects people in different ways. And, as time changes, what we consider to be offensive language is really changing. And I hope that this helps to pinpoint to people why that is and why it's important to choose different language in different situations.
But what will we do for that galvanizing effect when the F-bomb is diffused, if that's what we're heading for?
I think we have plenty of other options if you're really looking to shock and offend. there's plenty of other directions to go.
Bellamy Blackstone, thank you for talking to us. It was fun.
Thank you so much. It's great being here.
Bellamy Blackstone is an executive producer of The History of Swear Words, now out on Netflix. And if you want to hear about her favorite swear word, you can find it on our website, cbc.ca/day6.
Oh, excuse me. Say bye-bye. Say bye-bye. Say bye-bye. Say bye-bye. Bye bye. Say bye bye. That's good enough.